All right, everybody, welcome back to Street City Studio. I'm John, and today I want to talk a little bit about wizards and sorcerers. I think the prototypical common wizard and sorcerer would be, right, Gandalf or Merlin, right, your gray wizard that everybody's familiar with. But before I jump too far past that, I want to talk about my interests, right? Tell you guys what I grew up on and why I have interest in it. You know, I'm sure a lot of you guys are old enough like me to remember things like the Sword and the Stone cartoon, Masters of the Universe, obviously, but things like Lord of the Rings and like I said, the Sword and the Stone really got me interested in your archetypical gray wizard, Gandalf, Merlin, that guy, right? Let's get him out of here. But so, I kind of wanted to pull some of my other sorcerer figures, my wizards and sorcerers, and talk about them, right? And some of these influences, as I was thinking about how to put this video together and the inspirations, some of the inspirations surprised me, right? Like old Ben. As an adult, he's not going to stand too good without a stand. See if I can get him balanced on that one foot. Just lean him up against something. There we go. But old Ben Kenobi in the original Star Wars trilogy, and even some of the other characters too, as we get into it, right? But old Ben was very much a wizard, right? He wasn't exactly what we come to think of the Jedi these days, right? And I think the prequels and the sequels have done a lot of reconstruction and deconstruction on these ideas of what we originally thought of the Jedi kind of mind. It was very similar to a sci-fi wizard, right? He's a wise old man. He was a hermit, right? And likewise, Luke learning from him was very much like Arthur and Merlin in the Sword and the Stone and whatnot. At least for me, I feel like it was very parallel, right? And even your villain, right? Even your villain, the Emperor, by the third film, he was like your ultimate wizard, your dark arts villain, right? Your dark wizard. Evil side of sorcery, right? And so those were all very strong influences on my interests, but also how I collect and what I want to see on my shelves. You know, I like a lot of sword and sorcery. And even another surprise, I think, that kind of caught me off guard was Mola Ram from Indiana Jones, right? In Indiana Jones, I think a lot of us, just like Star Wars and Lord of the Rings and King Arthur's and stuff, right? We all grew up on Indiana Jones, right? It was a very Middle Eastern Indian sorcery in that film, right? But even, right, we can get things like, here we go, Dark Crystal, right? And more modern things like Doctor Strange from Marvel, right? And even I got a couple less familiar faces. All right, Fortnite guy. I don't even really know this guy's name. Rune Master or Rune Glyph Master or something like that, right? But he's very sorcery looking, wizardy looking, right? And that's the only reason I got him, right? That's the only reason I got him, and that's why he's being talked about here. Right? Another one that I got just for that sword and sorcery vibe was this Boss Fight Studios, a cave elf or something. And I remember when I first got her, I really didn't understand these weapons even. It's like crystal weapons, like a crystal pickaxe, a crystal torch, or a club, or a wand, however you want to interpret that. But it's a really great figure. It even came with a different wings, so you can, just like the gargoyle, just like NECA's gargoyle figures, you know, you can closed wings or open wings. Ooh, I like that one a lot. And again, I don't know who this is. I had no interest in or attachment or nostalgia for a pre-existing character I grew up on. But just because it fits into that world, right? Just because it looks like something you might find in the sorcery world, wizarding world. Right? Sticker behind it. Right? And even I got this guy from the Indiana Jones lines too. He looks like a shaman of sorts. And now you can play him as a warrior, or you can play him as something. It just depends on how you're trying to do your photography with him, or whatever you're doing, right? How you're displaying your shelf. But I like wizards, right? A wizard as a mentor character, or even just kind of in the background somewhere as a red herring or a plot device, right? And likewise, they can be used in your photography the same way, right? As a plot device, or a red herring, or a distraction, or something to catch the eye and imply things, right? It's going to imply certain things if you're looking at a wizard, right? He's authoritative. He commands respect and attention, commands your ear to listen, right? Yeah, I gotta say, I'm a big fan of Gandalf, big fan of Merlin, all of them really. Doctor Strange. Right. I don't think it's any secret that I'm a big Luke Skywalker fan, but I don't think everybody thinks of Luke Skywalker as a wizard, especially these days. But growing up, man, that's exactly what I thought. He's a space wizard, right? Just in the same way that Darth Vader is very much a space samurai, right? And even you can look at these influences, right? Look at Darth Vader's helmet. Let me grab it by the antler here. Get him in here. There we go. Right? But the way the bucket flares out wider towards the neck and stuff, that taper, the bucket on top that flares out at the bottom, that's all samurai. right? And likewise, let me set Darth Vader down here. I'm knocking everything down. There we go. But, like I said, old Ben was very much that wise old wizarding man trope. Right? That's exactly what he was. Right? You see the similarities even just to look at them here. We'll make it real clear. Maybe I should give him the staff too, huh? This is not your hat. This is my hat. Right? But the point was, we didn't see old Ben as a knight in shining armor, or a kingly figure, or a peasant. He was the wizard, the wise old man in the mountain. It was a very stereotypical kind of trope, played out in a different stage, right? A desert wizard on a foreign planet instead of one we're familiar with, that's all. Right? And likewise, just like King Arthur didn't exactly become a wizard even though he was training under the wizard, right? Luke Skywalker was that same King Arthur character, right? Studying under the wizard until he picked up the sword, right? But he still had a few tricks from the wizard, right? A few wizard tricks. He wasn't quite a wizard because he was a young man, but he was definitely on that path. He just does not like to stand. I don't love this figure because of it, but the face looks so good on it. It really does. I love it for pictures. That's the whole gist of this guy. He looks great, but he won't stand, and his legs I can't move them at all. I thought about trying to shave this one down or something just to even them out. I usually keep them on a stand. The stands take up space, and then he needs a lot of personal space and takes up screen. So I'd be able to squeeze less figures in here. I didn't like that. I wanted to squeeze more figures in here. Even as it is, they're all taking up the whole space anyways. Oh, you can't even see that one too. That's one of my favorite wizards too, just because he comes with some great accessories. Comes with that book. Comes with a closed book. Ooh. But this book too. This book's great just because it's on fire, like he's casting a spell. Or you can take the fire off and just have him reading the spell like it hasn't done any fiery thing yet. Or maybe that's silly to you, but he's a wizard. That's what he's supposed to be doing, right? He's got a pretty cool dagger. I don't pull that dagger out too often since he's a wizard, but it's nice to have it there. Really like that hand, how he holds that book too. That's nice. But yeah, I was definitely surprised as I was thinking about doing a video for wizards or about wizards. I was really surprised to think about Luke and Old Ben, right? The Emperor. I wasn't too surprised by Mola Ram, just because he's an evil wizard. That's what he is, an evil magic using guy. That was no secret. But they definitely have tried to step away from that in recent years for the Star Wars, at least. And that was one of the things I liked about it. Not one of the things I disliked. I wish they had leaned heavier into it instead of away from it. I won't even get into midichlorians and all that. But at the time, I didn't like that. Trying to make it more science fiction than sword and sorcery in space. I didn't necessarily need to know how a lightsaber worked. I didn't need a lot of the drama. Some of the, like I said, I'm going to keep it positive, but I liked the philosophy. I liked the philosophical aspects, right? Almost like you were going on the journey with Luke and learning something, right? Just like in Sword and Sorcery, right? You almost, or not Sword and Sword in the Stone. You almost felt like you were learning with from Merlin, like Arthur, right? Or with Arthur, right? And not that you necessarily even did, but you kind of felt like you did, right? I think with the new Star Wars, that's definitely something that's missing. I'm not. Yeah, I won't go there. We'll leave it at that. I just want to celebrate these wizards a little bit. Wizard group or wizardy sorcery kind of figures, man. I love them. I really do. Like I said, I wouldn't have bought this guy for any other reason, but he's very sorcery, very mystical. Right? Likewise, this one. You know, some of them you can write off for other reasons, right? Doctor Strange, I could say I need to fill out an MCU shelf, right? But that's not why. I need a sorcerer. I need a wizard. Because he's a wizard, I had to have him, right? It's like this guy, the wandering wizard. I needed him just because he's a wizard with wizard accessories. But, what wizard stuff pops up that surprised you guys? Let me know about it in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. I'll probably call that the video, though. Pushing 19 minutes here. Alright. You keep playing with them toys. I appreciate you guys joining me, and I'll see you again real soon.